That's right, I'm back, baby. But anyways, what's up guys? My name is Stealth and welcome back finally to another Marvel Spider-Man 2 related video, and man oh man does it feel good to say that again. So first of all, I want to highly apologize to you guys for not uploading any new videos at all for the past couple months, as I've been very busy outside of YouTube, but I'm finally back. It's 2023 and Marvel Spider-Man 2 releases exclusively on the PS5 this fall. And now for today's topic, I'm going to be discussing how I think Insomniac can improve upon the traversal in Marvel Spider-Man 2 to not only make it the best traversal compared to their previous two games, but also the best traversal system in any Spider-Man game that has come before. But before we dive into today's topic, if you guys are hyped to see the return of yours truly, as well as seeing how Insomniac can improve upon the traversal within Marvel Spider-Man 2 compared to their previous two Spider-Man games, then be sure to scroll down and hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on everything relating to Marvel Spider-Man 2, such as staying up to date on all the latest info we get for the game, as well as seeing me do reactions to all the upcoming trailers and gameplay, as well as doing a let's play and a review for when the game releases this fall, I got you covered on all of that. So definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that way you won't miss out on any new videos. And with all that being said, let's jump in and let's talk about this. Alright, so a long time ago, during my top 5 gameplay mechanics that I want to see video, I put expanded traversal at the number 2 spot on my list, and went over briefly some things that I would like to see be implemented for the traversal system within the game. But now I want to dive a little more in depth with the subject and go over some other things that I would like to see Insomniac implement for the traversal system for Marvel Spider-Man 2. Some of these ideas that I will be discussing throughout this video will range from feedback that I have to help improve some of these mechanics that have been established from the previous two games, some game mechanics that I want to see return from previous Spider-Man games, and finally go over some new ideas that I have for gameplay mechanics that I would like to see be implemented into the game to help flesh out the traversal system even more to really make it the best traversal we have ever gotten within a Spider-Man game. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first I want to start off with knocking off the obvious things that I want to see be improved upon than how they were originally within the previous two games, starting with faster web swinging. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the web swinging in both Spider-Man PS4 and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I felt like they were held back in terms of how fast you can go when you're swinging throughout the city. I felt like I was missing that feeling of rush and adrenaline like when I was swinging in previous Spider-Man games such as Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Web of Shadows. But now that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a PS5 exclusive, it means that it can utilize all the PS5 features, and in this case utilize the PS5's super fast SSD, which makes load times non-existent, which can make the swinging for the game much more faster than how it was before without having the game to stop and load if you went too fast. And there actually is concept of this, where in case you completely forgot about, is that a very long time ago Sony showed a tech demo of a comparison for Spider-Man PS4 running on a PS5 dev kit and a PS4 Pro, where during that comparison there is a shot where the camera is going through the streets of New York very fast, and as it shows in the demo is that the PS4 Pro had to stop in order to load the map so that it can continue to move, whereas the PS5 dev kit just kept moving smoothly thanks to the help of its SSD. So by showing you this concept, I think that Insomniac will utilize the PS5's SSD to make the swinging for the game much more faster than the previous games without needing to load the game. But also I would love for Insomniac to include a manual boost button like in previous Spider-Man games such as Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and Web of Shadows to really make the player have full control on how fast they want to swing through the open world. Now the next thing I want to discuss is something that a lot of people within the Marvel Spider-Man community, including myself, are very interested to see be implemented for the game, which is more air tricks for Peter. Now in case some of you unaware, the creative director for Spider-Man PS4, Brian Intihar, who will also be the creative director for Marvel Spider-Man 2, has stated that the air tricks were added at the last minute of development, which is why you only have 4 air tricks for Peter. But in the case of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, the lead animator for the game, James Ham, has stated that the air tricks for the game were actually started at the beginning of development for Miles Morales. And now that we are here with Marvel Spider-Man 2, a big question from everyone within the community are wondering is what air tricks will Insomniac do for Peter to make him more unique compared to Miles? Well, I have a couple ideas on some air tricks that I would like to see for Peter. For example, I would like to see the return of some air tricks from Spider-Man 2 that are really flashy and cool to pull off, such as the Spinneret, the Rolling Reporter, and the Poison Pike. And finally, one of Peter's diving air tricks can be him taking a selfie with his phone, just like how Tom Holland's Spider-Man took a selfie of himself while he was swinging during the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, while it's hard to come up with some ideas that Insomniac will do for Peter's air tricks, I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to knock it out of the park to really make him stand out with his arsenal of air tricks compared to Miles. Now next up, I want to go over some mechanics that I would like to see return from previous Spider-Man games, starting with the Slingshot. This traversal move has only appeared in 3 Spider-Man games, those being Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This move was great at helping players get a big boost while traversing the city, but also it's very helpful to help the player change direction at any time to figure out where to go next. And I think having this feature in Marvel Spider-Man 2 will really expand the player's options when it comes to figuring out where they want to go, whether if they want to go much farther or to get an early boost of momentum before their first swing. And another trick that would be cool to do with the Slingshot is to be stationary on a wall, and then you hold the R2 and X buttons together to use the Slingshot. Then release the button to launch yourself high up in the air, so that way you can get some height, but then also plan out your next move on what to do next to traverse the open world. Now next up is a feature that I thought was a really handy tool when it came to swinging through the city, and the mechanic that I'm referring to is the ability to climb up your web line. This has only been featured in 2 Spider-Man games. The first one that was actually used efficiently, which is Ultimate Spider-Man, but also a lot of people may not know about is that this feature was also implemented into Spider-Man Web of Shadows. And I think that this is one of the most genius mechanics that I have seen be included in a Spider-Man game, as it really helps the player be able to get to a certain height, whether that's trying to get over a certain building. But also, I think that if Insomniac decides to bring this mechanic back, maybe it can be used to allow the player to have more airtime to be able to pull off more air tricks. Now the second to last feature that I would love to see return from previous Spider-Man games is another cool feature that once again I don't see a lot of people talking about when it comes to discussing about what new traversal mechanics Insomniac will include within the game. And I think that if this particular feature is included in the game, it would definitely be one of my favorite moves to do when I'm free roaming in the open world. And the feature that I'm talking about is wall jumping. This mechanic was featured in 4 previous Spider-Man games, those being Spider-Man 2, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man 3, and Web of Shadows. And this feature was great at being able to launch yourself forward and also higher to go over buildings. And the best way to pull this off is to hold the X button while stationary on a wall, and also when you're skidding along a wall. I think by having this feature in the game can really be useful if you're trying to travel longer distances, but also be handy to get over buildings that you wouldn't be able to do by web zipping. And the last mechanic that I want to see return from previous Spider-Man games and implemented into Marvel Spider-Man 2 is something that I continue to talk about all the time when it comes to discussing about what I want to see be added into the game. And if you've been watching my channel for some time now, you can probably guess what it is. But if you're someone who might be new to my channel and you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'm referring to the dual swinging mechanic, which was only featured in 1 previous Spider-Man game, that being Spider-Man 3. I remember clear as day when I played that game for the first time in 2007 and unlocking this particular feature and using it during free roam always put a huge smile on my face every time I would use it. Being able to swing off 2 web lines at the exact same time was something that blew my mind, and mixing in wall running and air checks really made the traversal system for that game so much fun to pull off. And it really sucks that this feature was only included in this game and never again, as it really was the most underrated thing that you can do in any Spider-Man game, period. And if anybody from Insomniac is watching this video, all I ask is that you please have this feature return in Marvel Spider-Man 2, as it would bring back so many memories of free roaming throughout Spider-Man 3 while using this feature. And now finally, the last thing that I want to cover in this video are new mechanics that I would love to see be added into the game to really make this traversal fleshed out even more and really open up a lot of options when it comes to moving throughout the city. And the first mechanic that I want to talk about is sledding. Now you're probably asking yourself, Stealth, what do you mean when you say sledding? Well, that's very simple, my friends. When I say the term sledding, I'm talking about the ability for Spider-Man to use his web lines to attach himself to the back of cars and sledding across the street, and also using manhole covers as skateboards. Now I know some of you are thinking that this would be something that might be impossible to do, but there actually is concept of this mechanic being real, and it can be possible for Insomniac to do if they decide to do it. And all the credit goes to @Gibbs09 on Twitter, who is an indie dev who is making his own Spider-Man project, and he actually made the sledding mechanic a reality and put it in his game, which all of you are seeing on screen right now, and it looks absolutely breathtaking. And he even added tricks that you can pull off when you're on the manhole cover, which is absolutely insane. So the concept for this move is there, and if Insomniac decide to add this feature into Marvel Spider-Man 2, I have no doubt in my mind that it would look absolutely insane, especially if they add their signature Insomniac style and flair to it. And the last new mechanic that I want to go over is something that may actually have a chance of already being implemented into the game, and it's something to help differentiate when you're swinging as Peter throughout the open world compared to Miles and his Venom powers. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'm mainly referring to utilizing the iron spider legs for Peter's traversal. As we see in the very first teaser trailer for the game, there is a big focus for Peter of him now utilizing the iron spider legs with his advanced suit 2.0 to give himself a massive upgrade compared to his original advanced suit. And we see the iron spider legs in action during combat, but I think that the legs might be used for traversal as well. And I got a couple of ideas on how the legs can be incorporated with the traversal for the game, starting with the recovery roll. In Spider-Man PS4, there was an upgrade in the web slinger skill tree called Quick Recovery, which when by pressing the X button at the right time during a roll after landing allowed the player to launch themselves forward and continue their momentum. And this carried over to Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. So now with Marvel Spider-Man 2, let's take this a step forward and specifically have this upgrade exclusively for Peter, where by holding down the X button when you roll on the ground and release the button at the right time, you summon the iron spider legs and you get a much bigger boost forward than how you would normally do it when you just tap the button. I think this would be really handy, especially if you need just a little bit more range compared to how you would normally perform the move. Another idea for the iron spider leg traversal moves is improved wall jumping. And so going back to the topic of wall jumping, it will be very similar to the recovery roll, where if you hold the X button for a little longer than usual, you can boost yourself either up or forward than the normal wall jump. By having this upgrade for your wall jump, it will definitely be useful to scale taller buildings more faster, but also to jump a little bit more farther across the city. And the last upgrade I would love to see for the iron spider legs be utilized with is charge jumping. Just like with the previous two upgrades that I just mentioned, the iron spider legs will be very helpful when it comes to starting your traversal, especially with the case of charge jumping. The normal charge jump is for sure the most popular option to start your traversal with when you're in the open world. And so just like with the previous two upgrades I talked about, when you perform the charge jump like you normally do, if you hold the X button down for a little longer than usual, you'll summon the legs to give you a bigger boost. And so by pairing all these upgrades that I listed throughout this video together, you have a recipe for an absolutely incredible and super traversal system in any Spider-Man game, period. And there you guys have it. Those are my thoughts on how I think Insomniac can improve upon the traversal system within Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, while we are all still waiting for gameplay for the game, I'm still very excited to see what Insomniac will do to improve and expand the traversal system and really push beyond the foundation that they laid out from their previous two games. And I truly couldn't be more hyped than I already am. But now I want to hear from you guys. Scroll down and let me know in the comment section below, how would you like to see Insomniac improve the traversal system, and what features and mechanics would you like to see be added to the game? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that way you won't miss out on any new videos and to stay up to date on everything relating to Marvel Spider-Man 2. My name is Stealth, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, guys.